My Aunt Bee was, well, we call her Aunt Bee. She was actually my mother's Aunt Bee. So my great Aunt Bee was part of a large family, large Canadian family. And when she was young, in her 20s, she was a nurse during the First World War. She was stationed at a place called Étape. There was a hospital there. It's out in the Brittany region of France, I believe. Anyhow, working as a nurse there, she saw lots of the horrors and casualty of war, as any of the nurses would. But one of the things that was new about World War I, which is really quite surprising when you actually think about it, is that aircraft, which had only a decade earlier been pioneered by the Wright brothers, were actually evolved enough to be used in battle. And in fact, towards the end of the year, they started using them for bombing. And bombing is something that was completely new. If you think about the 19th century, they would have had cannons and things like that. And usually they would only be used against other armies. In the 20th century, in World War I, and especially in World War II, you started seeing bombing done against civilian populations. And in this case, the German forces were convinced that there was something going on in Étape. Some battalions were stationed there. Perhaps they even thought they were using the hospital as cover. And anyway, in 1918, they bombed this hospital, and most of the staff were aware that this was happening, and they had to leave. They evacuated, leaving Beatrice McNair and one other nurse there alone to attend to the patients. As you can imagine, this would have been a harrowing experience with things exploding and things catching on fire. Anyway, she managed to avoid injury, as did her partner. I'm not sure about all of the patients. And for her act of bravery, was awarded the military medal, which at that point had never been given to a woman before. So she was the first woman in Canadian history, along with her partner, to receive these medals, military medals. And so that's quite an astonishing feat for anyone, really. And it's especially interesting when this is a member of your own family.